Evansville's first pioneer cemetery existed for only a couple of decades in the early 1800s. The city built a new cemetery when it started to expand the town. Officials and historians have always thought that the original cemetery was exhumed and moved to the new site. But now, new research suggests that never happened. The bodies were never moved. Many are still resting beneath the busy intersection of Vine and 4th Streets.
Hugh McGarry, he was involved in platting this area into city lots and streets, but he reserved an acre of land about right here for his cemetery to be reserved forever. Well, look what happened to the reservation.
Dennis Au and his colleague Stan Schmidt spent decades compiling old government records, newspaper articles, and personal remembrances in an effort to locate the cemetery and track its history. Their research took them back nearly 2 centuries, to a time when Evansville was just an overgrown ferry stop. All of the land that would later become the town of Evansville, and eventually downtown Evansville, was owned by a ferry operator named Hugh McGarry. McGarry donated all of his property to Vanderburgh County to build the city in the early 1800s. In the documents recording the donation, McGarry made it clear there was a cemetery on the property that should remain forever.
John Thompson be allowed $1 for surveying the graveyard. How much time did he spend? Doesn't sound like much.
For a few decades, the graveyard was Evansville's main burial ground. Then it fell from use in about 1844. Within a few decades, it had slipped from collective memory. In its place came new construction. A canal was built, then a courthouse. Streets were widened, churches were built and demolished, small buildings were replaced with skyscrapers, downtown blossomed, and every so on, unsuspecting developers stumbled across human remains.
Well, through the years, as they were bricking the streets, they found bodies. As they were building the court building across the street, they found internments. As they were digging lines through the street, like right there, a skull comes rolling out.
One of Au's more shocking discoveries about the cemetery is that Hugh McGarry's wife, Mary, may still be buried there with her children.
So the reports that I have is Mrs. McGarry, Mary McGarry, was buried here in 1821. I consider her one of the pioneers, maybe even a foundress of Evansville. Right here with 2 of her children.
Au hopes to one day have a historical marker installed near the intersection so that the cemetery is not forgotten again.